I am not one to complain. I will complain about things that go on in the world, what politicians are doing, what the government's doing. That I it's my living. It's my calling. It's what I'm meant to do. That's not complaining. That's more like an indictment. I like to indict what I think is boorish governmental behavior and societal things that we do. It's not really a complaint, but for me to sit there and say, "Oh, I'm feeling so bad. I'm so sick." I hate that. You have no idea how I hate public displays of woe is me. I have never spoken in public about a death of my parents, individually, family, individual, setbacks in my life, things I've had to overcome. If I had, uh, substance abuse, I wouldn't tell anybody. I don't think that's something to be proud of. Or if I conquered substance abuse, which is what you're supposed to do, I would never say that. If I suffered from mental illness or from depression, or if I didn't like the way I looked, or I look at me, make me feel good. I hate that. It's solipsistic, it's self-referential, and I can't stand it. We've got to learn how to suck it up and just shut up. You're not the only person who's ever been whatever. This may seem cruel, and it's not meant to be cruel, but this Matthew Perry was getting on my nerves all the time, yelling at us, screaming at us that he was an addict. You don't understand. He's an addict, and you must listen to him, and you don't understand. It's like, okay, no, I'm an addict. Okay. And every day I fight. And what happened? Not laughing at this. Didn't think it was funny. Didn't, not, but it's like, enough with this. There are addicts all the time. What about the guy on the street? He's an addict. Well, he's not. What? He doesn't make $20 million a year. Is that it? I can't stand this. During COVID, oh my God. Oh my God. It brought out, the, this baby in us. I've never seen anything like it. Oh, I've got COVID. No, you tested positive for the PCR. No, you don't have COVID. There was a molecule. Ugh. Are you sick? No. Are you suffering? No. Can you breathe? Yes. But they loved it. Oh, I'm afraid. I don't want to go to me. I don't want to sit around the fire pit with you because I might. I sound like Finklestein, don't I? I love that guy. But man. So let me tell you what happened. That being said, Saturday, excuse me, Friday night. You know the feeling of uh oh. You kind of know. So here we go. Here we go. Saturday, out in bed all day, sleeping all day. Sunday, all day. What's today? Tuesday? See, I'm confused. Yesterday, all day. Finally ate something didn't eat since Saturday. Now, that's it. I think I'm feeling better. I'm still, whatever. I had to do something. This is ridiculous. So my mind is a bit muddled, sort of, but I want to tell you what's interesting. This is my take from it. And that's it. And please, I beg you, nobody wants to hear your remedies. Make sure you take some honey and a little chamomile. No, stop it. That's not it. That doesn't help anything. Tea does not help anything. I don't know where this comes. And honey, I don't know where this honey. What does that do? Tastes good. Doesn't do anything. Take vitamin C. Too late. Vitamin C will not kill a virus. Couldn't hurt. No, stop it. And they tell, that's why, please, I beg you. No. Make a nice pot of Soup. Oh, please. That doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything. Here is the interesting thing I noticed. Number one, sleep. We always dismiss sleep as laziness, sleep for some reason, and science doesn't even know what sleep does. Because we sleep, there are some animals that sleep longer periods of time. Others, birds hardly sleep. Mosquitoes don't sleep hardly at all. Hummingbirds. What is this sleeping? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. They still don't know. They don't understand how things are. How we always talk about the immune system. Hey, this bolsters the immune system. What does that mean? T cells? What? What does that mean? That's interesting. And also, the notion, this is interesting, how shutting down makes you better. Your body says we're shutting down. That's not a symptom, that's recovery. Let me just say this to you one more time. When you shut down, that's not a symptom necessarily of the flu. That is your body saying, we know how to take care of this. Watch this. But we're going to shut you down. We're going to lay you down. You're going to stop, and you're not going to eat. Hormesis. This goes back to the notion of fasting. Eat, starve a cold, feed a fever? No. Anyway, you wait it out, maybe do some stuff, whatever it is, and it's gone. And I'm feeling pretty better. But here's the biggest I like. Here's the biggest takeaway, and that's all I want to say about this. You know, when people ask you, how you doing? Okay. How you feel? Fine. Treasure that. When you are feeling okay, when you say, okay, let's go, when you don't have anhedonia, this is one of those things. Anhedonia is one of the symptoms of depression. This is when you don't do the normal things you want to do. You don't want to things you like to do. You know, read the paper, go outside, do some things. You know, you don't want to do it, and it's almost like a form of depression, which is fascinating. It's almost like a sense of depression, and I could not believe how, I swear to you, when I say could not, to get up and sit and type, I can't do it. I mean, I was thinking, wow. Now, while I'm supposed to hate this, which I normally do, I normally hate things. I have been in a period of just thinking, wow, this is so interesting. And look at what your body normally does. Your body will say, we'll take care of this. We'll leave it, whatever. We'll take care of this. But just, don't push it. And all this stuff, drinking honey, I don't know where this honey thing came from. I have no idea. Where did honey come from? Who came up with it? What? Makes no sense whatsoever. Makes no sense. So in any event, thank you. I'm back. It's great to be back. Everything's back to normal again. I hope, let us hope, we can perhaps do this. Sparky says, compared to humans, dogs sleep a lot, which is true. And also we wonder sometimes, what is the purpose of that? How is it restorative? How does that work? How is it restorative? Okay? That's the issue. That's the issue here. Now, let's do a few more things. First and foremost, before we get going, I want to bring you to, and I have been most remiss because we have not been at all looking at helping our sponsors who have helped us. As I've told you before, my friends, I've always admired people who fight against the system, rage against the machine, so to speak. And when people think that they're able to do something on their own and speak, I am so proud of them. And our great sponsor from MyPillow.com is that story. His name is Mike Lindell. Christmas is around the corner, and he wants to help you show your love to others. Use promo code Lionel at MyPillow.com and listen accordingly. Let me try this again. Look at this. See, I've forgotten how to do this. There we go. And where was it? Oh, yes. And listen accordingly. Let me tell you about my great friends at MyPillow.com. MyPillow.com. And by the way, use promo code Lionel. Use promo code Lionel and receive a free gift. No purchase necessary. And yes, I realize that gifts are free. It's a tautology. Get over it. Sue me. So what are we talking about? How about Giza Dream bed sheets, My Pillow 2.0, sheets, slippers, percales, towels, quilts, bedspreads, mattresses, mattress covers, mattress toppers, linens, kitchen towels, bathrobes, name it. Items to luxuriate and relax. And don't forget, Christmas is just around the corner. And yes, it makes a great stocking stuffer, and it's fine for dad or grad. Made by the greatest company from the greatest people in the greatest country. Or call 800-645-4965 if you're OG, and see how quickly Mike Lindell answers the phone. 800-645-4965. But don't forget, only use promo code Lionel. That's MyPillow.com. Promo code Lionel. MyPillow.com. Promo code Lionel. All right, my friends. See, I forgot how to do the... It's weird. It's very, very strange. You just forget things. Anyway, so that's it. Sorry for the delay, but if you don't see me on here for a while, there's a good reason for it. Absolutely. Absolutely. This is my, let me change my brand. This is my connection. This is not a job. This is a hobby. It's a love. It is I don't know what the phrase is, but that's it. During my convalescence, I got the chance to listen to so many wonderful and incredible stories and lectures using YouTube, the incredible repository of information on YouTube. And I cannot tell you how if you don't want to read newspapers or things like that, I get it. I dig it. I dig it. This is another story. And I want you to start with this one, and I want everybody to take this with a grain of salt and with no how do I say this? I don't want you to take it the wrong way. But first, Sparky says you can really see the negative effects of a lack of sleep on the elderly. To a great extent, youth conceals it. That's very good. By the way, elderly, I've learned from watching, elderly is a disease. Being old is a disease because we're dying constantly. We're dying from the day we're born. We're programmed to die. You know what I mean? It's like you have a little wind up toy. You turn it as much as you can. You let it go, and it's going to die. Death is not a mistake. Death is not an oops. Death is not early death can certainly be that way, but it is programmed, and nobody really gets that part. There are certain things. Everything has an end. There's an end, and then there's a transformation. Some things can go on forever, but certain things will die to be followed by different versions. For example, let me give you an example, and that's a very good point right now. Israel and Palestine, Hamas and everything else. I'm going to tell you this. This is going to be the breakage, the breaking point, the tipping point of everything. Everything that happened, all of the collective mindset, the collective thinking process, the way we reacted to what Israel did or what Palestine did or Hamas or anyway, it went on for 75 years. It was kind of, and here's what Americans thought for the most part. Americans thought Israel has been through the worst horror that anybody has ever even imagined. The Holocaust, pogroms, the diaspora, just this absolute targeted and anti-Semitism was alive and well. I've told you, if you want to hear some of the best lectures, wonderful lectures, I got their names. You must hear Peter Hayes and Robert Wiener. Peter Hayes was, I believe, either the curator or the director of the Holocaust Museum. He's very good. And Robert Wiener or Weiner is incredible. Incredible. Listen to it. It will blow your mind. Blow your mind. It is. This is from the initial part of it. So we're not going to go through the antecedents of that, but the initial impetus. Remember something. You just need a little boop, and that's it. It just goes on. It's like in outer space. You tap something, and it just goes on forever. That's the way hate and fads and politics, and it just takes a little, and that's it. And once people get used to it, once people get used to this idea, once you're told, oh, we hate Jews? Yes. Why? Well, Jews are responsible for the death of Christ. Oh, really? Yeah, Jews? I thought it was Pontius Pilate. No. Wait, what? Jews? What did the Jews have to do with Christ? Well, wait a minute. What? Watch Passion of the Christ to understand this. You've got to understand the basis of this. Mel Gibson is a conservative Catholic. He is from the school of thought that it was Barabbas and the Sanhedrin, whatever the hell these, that they were responsible. They demanded Christ because he was, Pontius Pilate was basically in charge. He was crucifying people left and right. And he was the one who was given the orders as a kind of a governor of that area. And he's saying, we're not going to have anybody claim to be the Son of God or whatever. Whatever. You can argue about this all day long. Watch the Passion of the Christ. That tells you exactly. That is exactly the mindset which fomented and created the initial impetus of anti-Semitism. Because look at how he makes Barabbas, and remember Barabbas, and then there's Caiaphas, and in fact, Mel Gibson spent 30 seconds on the resurrection, which is the basis of the Protestant faith. It was a resurrection, not the passion before that. Pontius Pilate was construed as this effeminate, weak, fey, limp-wristed, sissified person to whatever he wants, who even went to Jesus, and it was mind-boggling, but it was a perfect template and architecture of how people thought that. And Martin Luther. Okay. So anti-Semitism is real. There's no doubt about that. But does it explain everything? No. Of course not. Racism is real. Does it explain everything? No. Do what I'm saying? Sparky says, being Israel's defense attorney must be tough. It's like representing a bank robber who continues to rob banks while on bail during their trial. There's a certain degree of truth to that. But I'm glad you brought that up. As I was saying before, and Sparky, you're right about that. I'm going to comment on that, which is important. Most of us said, look, Israel's got a tough break. Israel's had a tough break. And they've got to do what they've got to do. And they're the only democracy in the Middle East. And they're our ally. And we are, and this is what people said. there was always a sense of Middle Eastern, Arabic were like, no. Sparky says, like Biden, Pontius Pilate washed his hands of it. Yes. That's also a Freudian terms of ablution, so to speak, the kind of the undoing and sort of thing. All right. So as this occurred, as things got to be what they were over a period of time, 9/11 comes in, and whether we realize it or not, we had these people who were not exactly held in the highest of standards. Yasser Arafat we didn't like the way he looked. They looked smarty and dirty and with his gun and his. And you remember towards the end of his life, remember that with his tongue, and he was like, it was bad. There's all kinds of questions about his sexuality and the billions and who got the money. Anyway, so they were not held to the highest. There was nothing romantic about it. There was nothing romantic about it. 1972, the summer, the Olympics. Oh my God, that that was considered cowardly, horrible, dirty, rotten, bushwhacking, and the elevation of Israel. Mossad was one of the greatest stories. I'm not saying it's not true, but with the greatest stories, the same way, if you remember when you were a kid, maybe if you're in my generation, the FBI, a Quinn Martin production. It was the elevation, the status. It was the first use of propaganda and using the media to create a way of thinking. Mossad was great. Actually, Amman is actually bigger because they're military intelligence, but they're over here saying, no, Mossad, you do that. You take care of that. Under the, just is incredibly clever, underhanded, slippery disguises, the best intel ever. And they had some hiccups here and there. But it took on this new era. The word Israeli sounded tough. Israeli. For example, we have these weird things in our country. For example, certain things. For example, would you want to learn Brazilian jiu-jitsu or Polish jiu-jitsu? Now, I'm not trying to make a joke. I'm not trying to be cute about this, but I mean, I'm serious. There are certain things. Wow, Polish. This is an Israeli martial arts. This is an Israeli assault weapon. These are Israeli. There was a time in Hollywood when ex-IDF people were hired as security, still are, I think, for many top performers of ex-IDF. You want to learn Swedish martial arts. I'm not trying to make a joke about Polish. I'm not trying. What I'm saying is there's this thing. It just, that had more to do with our collective idea about what Israel was because we had no idea. We didn't know what it was about. We know about 1948. And Palestinians, we know even less about. Even less. We don't know anything about them. All we know is that Arabs, Muslim, Palestinians, whatever, we just kind of lumped them in together. And they were always viewed as kind of like the pain in the ass. Here they go again. Israel, would they just be happy and just live with? It's already been established. You live here, they live there, and that's it. What's the problem? What's the problem? And then you start memorizing certain things. This is what you say. Whenever you go on TV, if ever you want to go and learn the Ben Shapiro, no offense against Ben, but this is the Ben Shapiro playbook. This is what you say. Number one, first of all, you have to bring up October the 7th. Whenever you talk to somebody, you can say, just right off the bat, tell me right now that you accept the fact, that you recognize the fact, what Hamas did was terrorism. You start off with that all the time. And what you should do is say, absolutely. Next. Okay. In 2005, Israel left. Absolutely left. Abandoned Gaza. Left. You wanted it? Take it. They got out and they destroyed everything. And up till then, they kept voting in, if you will, Hamas. That's what they get. They had it. They could have had the peace, but everything that they have right now is because of what they did. Either they did not rise up against Hamas, either they are aligned with Hamas. The Palestinians could not control Hamas, but basically, in essence, this is your you knew something about you had something to do with this because this was going on under your name, under your color of title, and you should have done something about this. You voted these people and you had every opportunity in the world to whatever it was, and you allowed these people to. Okay, you got it. You got it. And then they will repeat the idea, and they will say over and over and over. And this is not necessarily wrong, but this is what people are saying. October the 7th, the atrocities. And if you noticed, if you listen to some people, the atrocities get worse. I've heard people, and I'm not going to go through them now, add to the list of what Hamas terrorists did to women and children and old people that I never heard before. Like I never heard, I'm not going to go, and I'm not mocking it, but nobody is challenging this, and to even challenge this, to even remotely suggest, wait a minute, can you prove that? You're sick. You're absolutely sick if you challenge this, if you dare question the integrity or the authenticity of the particular story. And Sparky brings up a good point, abandoned then blockaded, because that, Sparky, is exactly what the Palestinians are saying. Now, if you think there's a right or wrong answer here, you got to pick a side. I'm telling you right now, you pick one or the other, but you are not going to be able to handle both of them. You are not going to be able to coordinate both senses of reality. You're not going to be able to do it. You pick a side and then act accordingly. Good luck. And whatever it is, because human beings cannot meld, cannot combine, cannot understand what is happening here. It is beyond most people's pay grade. It is beyond their bailiwick. It is beyond their way of thinking. You will never hear anybody suggest. You will hear. I've heard. I was listening to. Abby Martin. Abby Martin used to be. We were friends, I thought, and then later on she didn't like me or something. She said some terrible, maybe because Trump or I don't know what, but that's okay. She's got some stuff right now which is worth listening to. It's very, very good. It's not inauthentic. Max Blumenthal, terrific. Listen to him. Keep going. Judge Napolitano, Judge Knapp is just exquisite, perfect. Ray McGovern, Duran, Peter Lavelle, John Mearsheimer, incredible. Colonel McGregor, Scott Ritter. Is this just there is you pick, and then there are scores of people, and I'll tell you the coup de grace, so to speak, who are providing information. They always have. But Norman Finklestein is the man of the hour. This is a guy who was a pariah. A pariah. This guy was red. This was a third rail. Don't get near this guy. He's dangerous. He was he started where before anybody. I mean, he was just brutal. And for years, I heard him. I met him one time. Just met him one time. And I could not believe the thing that he seems so dour. When you see him on TV, he looks like he's constipated all the time. He looks tired. He speaks very tired. And the problem with you got to do it. Hamas is very. I'm not mocking him, but interestingly enough, his speech pattern is very effective for people who need to be explained to slowly. With all due respect to what Ben Shapiro says, half of the time is missed because he speaks at a speed which I believe, in some respects, is to hide and wallpaper over the fact that there's really not a lot there. But if you speak very quickly, the speed somehow can be reconstructed as wisdom in a weird way. I don't know why that is, but it's true. I just did my private channel, which is where the only place I can even remotely speak without fear of reprisal. Because believe me, everything you say, let me tell you something, and I want everybody to understand something, and I want you to learn something. When you speak on a social media platform, it is there forever. And it is there to be done with what people want to be done. I think that it will be commonplace for you to purge all videos after, I don't know, a year or something, because they don't age well. Let me say that again. They don't age well. Twitter doesn't age well. When it changes, the tide, the theme, the focus, when it changes, and you have out there a piece of opinion that does not comport with or does not jibe with what's going on now, that's when they come back and they clobber you. I know it. I've seen it. I've been a victim of it. I'm just telling you, you can say something right now. You can give me an example. This is why you want to talk about a private channel. Let's say there's somebody who actually is promoting something which is absurd. He believes that Israelis or Palestinians are not human and are extraterrestrials. All right, let's just either one. And you think, well, that's kind of interesting. Let me talk to him. Let me expose him, or just talk to somebody who has a particular opinion that I think is kind of unique. And you put them on your show. Later on, they'll say, so and so, Griswold Splitkin on his YouTube actually promotes the idea that Israelis are not human by interviewing somebody who says that. And they don't differentiate between you merely talking to somebody and you endorsing it. So that's all I'm going to tell you right now. Because while everybody's feeling free, they're all coming out of the woodwork now. All coming out. They feel like the coast is clear. Come on out. People are thinking this. Say what you want about COVID. Say what you want about this. Say what you want about Israel. It's okay. Come on out. The rules, they've dropped it. This is what people are thinking now. Come on, say there were explicit rules that would get you absolutely ablated that said, if you dare question or promote Russia, or if you're thought of promoting Russia against the Ukrainian thing, you're done. That's not true anymore. When did that happen? I don't know. The Duran, God bless him. Ritter, Judge Knapp, Mearsheimer, go on and on. Mearsheimer is he is like he is a god. But Norman Finkelstein, and I don't know if is there a real Finkelstein, I don't know. This guy is everywhere. So on my local, my normal channel, there is an interview he did with Michaela Peterson, Jordan Peterson's daughter. Jordan Peterson, I cannot listen to a millisecond of him. And I don't know why. It's just a personal thing. I have nothing bad to say about him. I've never ever found somebody so irritating and who says nothing. But anyway, it's my opinion. And I wish him health and prosperity and success. I just elect not to listen to him. Like a lot of people, I don't listen to them. I don't really care about it. Junk yogurt. The Young Turks. Absolutely the grease trap, the cloaca, the sewer of nonsensical gibberish. Enjoy yourself. Entitled to success, I elect not to listen to him. So watch this interview with Michaela, Jordan Peterson's daughter, and Norman Finkelstein. He gives a history that we need to go through in a very slow delivery. Does it to her? Does it to her with her? And they do a split screen. She looks. Watch this. She loses age in this. I know this sounds strange. I don't know how old she is. Could be 30, could be 20. I have no idea. I can never gauge age. I'm terrible at that. But whatever you thought she was at the beginning of this, you see her lose age because she's losing innocence. Or maybe she's becoming more innocent when she's learning about the history of something she knows nothing about. The appearance, the look on her face, she looks like 10 years younger, not in terms of, youth, no, but almost like innocence or shock, or I had no idea, or fear or something. It's one of the best things ever. And she's so smart. She just let him speak. Most people would not have had the guts to let a host, or a guest rather, go that long without interrupting. Sparky says, UN gave the green light to the British neo-colonial experiment, Israel in the late 1947. Too bad the US vetoes stopping it now that the neo-colonialism has run amok. Well, yes, but the question is, here is my question to you, my friend. What do you think is going to be the answer? What do you think is going to be the answer? Now, this is a wonderful thing that we talk about, and I appreciate this, and I love this, and I appreciate so much, Sparky, for you to understand and get a grasp of the history of things. But we're talking about something now. And the answer to this is even more frightening. Let me continue, because I hope you see what's happening here. And I hope you see what I'm leading up to. Let me just say this. From my own point of view, I'm an American citizen. I have no interest whatsoever in religion. I'm a retired Catholic at best, if I have to come up with a name or something. I have no particular concern between Judaism, Islam, Zoroastrianism, doesn't make any difference to me. They are all the same to me. They're just a religion that is one of the elements that human beings enjoy, and one of the ways that humans enjoy this demarcation by virtue of religion. It's one of the ways that we mark ourselves as being religious or what have you. It's one of those things. And I've lived with it all my life. Just like there are men and women, and there are African Americans, and there are Asian Americans, and Asians, and Africans, and tall people and short people, and religious people and non-religious people. It doesn't mean anything to me. It's just another category. And people should be able to experience and appreciate their faith without any kind of interference from the government or international or whatever. Okay? Listen to this. Sparky says, off topic, Jordan Peterson's daughter has a peculiar condition where she has to only eat meat. She'd be dead now if she continued to eat plants. Okay. I'll take your word on that. I have no information on that. Cannot refute, cannot agree. I will demur to you. Now, what we're seeing now is an overwhelming cascade, an avalanche of now call it what you want, Palestinian, pro-Palestinian, um, what am I trying to say? Yes, pro-Palestinian um, promotions. By the way, I need 300 likes. I need 300 likes, my friend. Welcome me back with a like. Make me feel better with a like. Shower me with likes. Likes are important because the more likes we get, the more we are recommended to other people. And I want people to listen to me because what I'm telling you right now is more importantly the message that most Americans need to hear because they don't know enough about this to figure out where do I even fit into this. And there is a lot of problems with institutionalized racism. There is this college level indoctrination of lunacy. I remember one thing too. I gotta tell you something. When I hear young people being indoctrinated or we talk about young people being indoctrinated, you always think it's the left. I have been around I don't wanna say Heritage Foundation is okay, but I mean, a CPAC crowd, you know, that, not ACT UP. Who are these people? I don't know what they're called, right I always get him confused. Uh, Joe, anyway, it doesn't matter. These groups that cater to younger people who fill them with this notion, this focus, uh, um, idea regarding, um, right-wing, politics, they can be just as duplicitous as other people. What the hell is his name? Oh, Charlie Kirk, you know, that kinda group. Uh, whatever that not ACT UP, whatever these groups are. I've seen the same thing. And when you hear people when I see young people and they are spouting this conservative stuff and they're waving a flag, I'm thinking, "They don't know what the hell they're talking about." They just like the way it feels. So young people, and we've all been young, have sometimes a tendency to believe in things not because they're true, but because they're popular. Sparky says, "But US veto of the UN ceasefire resolution is now?" Question mark. I don't know. I'm not know. It's interesting. It's a question. So let me go through with this. What we're seeing right now for the first time is something that I've never seen before, and you only see it on social media. You only see it on social media. Finkelstein Stein was again, a pariah on YouTube and other couldn't find this guy. He was just because he came across, he looked, he kinda snarled, he was the voice, the message, he was brutal against Israel. I mean, never said I mean, just he just and he was relentless. And when he went after Dershowitz, claiming that he was a plagiarist, which whoa. Did you ever hear more plagiarism? Doris Kearns Goodwin, remember Mike Barnacle? Um, Ambrose, the war you know, it kinda showed up, and in a weird way, people used to always people used to people used to always, uh wow, people used to always go crazy. There's been plagiarism in politics, uh, writers, oh my god, go through Helen Keller, I mean, just, uh, coincidence or plagiarism, there was music, there's all these cases where people anyway, so for the longest time, this was the battle of the giants, and what happened was, after Finkelstein went after Dershowitz, and I don't know if it was ever resolved, whatever, but it was Finkelstein was any chance of him being promoted, getting tenure, academic, uh, he was just radioactive, and that's the way it was, because in our culture, and I know this, being this vehement against Israel, especially from a Jew, and especially from a Jew whose parents were in concentration camps, and don't forget concentration camp versus death camp. He makes this distinction, which frankly I had never but I never really thought of the distinction. This is how different and how important this was. Make a long story short, before October the 7th, it was like, "Ah, this guy. This guy's got a problem. Self-loathing Jew," they would be called. He's just a Max Blumenthal, okay, all right, man, that's good. Abby Martin, okay, all right. They just want that's their thing. They're leftists, it's a lefty thing. They hate Israel because Israel is like us, because they're the only democracy in the Middle East, and because, well, things are and they've been through a lot and that's pretty much the way America thought. Just never thought of them, and it was if you were to ever pursue any American political endeavor or trajectory, and you were anything but 100% pro-Israel, you're dead. That is a fact. You can debate me, you can say, "Oh, that's not true." It's true. And that was a testament to you can call it the Israeli lobby, you can call it whatever you want, but it's true. There were certain things, and there always has been. For example, anti-gun, anti-environment, anti-woman, anti certain things where if you go in this particular area, you have just signed your own political suicide pact. You're done. All of that changed October the 7th. Everything changed. Now, the internet, YouTube is absolutely s not swarming, uh, flooded, flooded with, uh, the most absolutely vehement, loud, vociferous, pro-Palestinian, but anti-Israeli. And here's the story. When you look and when you listen to the and how do I say this? When you listen to the take all of the either pro-Israel or anti-Palestinian arguments, and you put them together and compare that with the, pro-Palestinian, what you hear is, I don't wanna say the same story, but you hear a repetition of the theory of the hypothesis, which says, in effect, they asked for it, Israel has been making trying to make deal after deal after deal. All of these deals have been rejected. Abba even said famously, "Palestinians never miss an opportunity to miss an opportunity." They've never been interested in any kind of a two-state solution. They've never had any interest whatsoever. Time after time after time, they just they don't care. In 2005, Gaza was abandoned, left to, the Gazans, the Palestinians, and immediately what happened was they elect Hamas, and Hamas uses it as one huge human shield where it can conduct, um, terrorist attacks against Israel, thus forming a split between the West Bank and Gaza, that Israel is not going to allow itself to be brutalized and bombarded by Hamas. Hamas knows what it's doing, it's using these innocent people as human shields, and you know what? That's the way it goes, and the analogy is this, and it's been said before, if I'm a bank robber, I'm a bad guy, and I go into a bank, and I grab a hostage, and I come out with a gun, with a hostage, and I start shooting people, policemen, innocent people, shooting people. I'm just shooting. What are the police supposed to do? Let me do this because I've got a hostage? Try its best to shoot me, but I've got the hostage right in front of me, so if you try to shoot me, you're gonna kill the hostage. What do you do? I'm using this hostage, and I'm shooting all these people. What do you do? In order to save this hostage, do you let 5 new innocent people die? That's the way it's presented, and if that's the only aspect of the story, it makes complete and total sense. However, you hear this part, "Well, let me tell you what it's like living here just on a day-to-day basis." Sparky says, "You indicated that I was stuck in history, but the second part of my 1947 neo-colonial comment was, too bad the US vetoes stopping it, which is in the present." Yes. No, no, I'm not saying you're stuck in history. What I'm saying is, unfortunately, that has no you're right about that, but knowing history in this particular case, uh, I'm sorry to say it doesn't really matter because most people are looking at the history is starting now, so to speak. The US and Britain saw to it that Israel has the lone democracy in the region. That is precisely right. I mean, that listen, I that's true, but here we go. Now let me try this again. Now, Sparky, you're a smart man. Now that we've said everything, now that we know everything, now that we are absolutely nobody says, "What do we do to finish it? How is this where is this going to end? Where is this going to end, I ask you? Where, dear friend, is this going to end? Where? Where does it end? Tell me where it ends. Tell me where it ends and tell me how it's fixed and tell me what we do. Tell me. Because this is the part which is, very difficult for people to even grasp and understand. We have absolutely done and everybody has done a wonderful job, just a wonderful job in explaining the horrors that are associated with what is going on. Everybody has we know exactly. what is going on. We know Israel's position, we know their position, we know everything, okay? We know everything, okay? Good. Now here's my question. What do we do now? What? What? Where is this going to end? You are seeing protests now that you have not ever seen. Did you see Alec Baldwin? Did you see Alec Baldwin? Who apparently came upon some protesters or something. I don't think he was trying to get into it, the involvement, but they were yelling at him like, "F you, you're washed up," whatever it was. And he decided to scream back and get real tough with an NYPD escort. Did you see that? Did you see this one? Um, Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin, by the way, is, here we go. Here, yeah, this is good. This is the good one. Alec Baldwin. Oh, here we go. Alec Baldwin berated. Listen to this. Alec Baldwin was berated by anti-Israel protesters on Monday evening after hundreds of agitators flooded into the Penn Station and Grand Central Station during a fiery demonstration where they told Israel to go to hell. The irate 30 Rock star jawed out the protesters who told him he has no effing shame and belittled his tanking career while hundreds descended on the major Big Apple transit hubs during the protest opposing Israel's military campaign in Gaza. Baldwin was walking by the demonstration near West 29th Street, where protesters spotted him and darted toward him, accusing him of supporting Israel. NYPD officers needed to escort the actor. Baldwin had no problem shouting back at them, but he was quickly met with the ire of the protesters. "Shut your effing mouth. You have no effing shame," one man shouted back at Baldwin. "Uh, Go F yourself," the man yelled. "You ask stupid questions," Baldwin could be heard telling one of the rabble-rousers, quote, "Ask me a smart question and I'll answer your question." The conversation ended when Baldwin was able to get through the door he was waiting in front of. Your career's tanking, and it goes on and on. Uh, and it goes to show you that look, we can speculate on a lot of things. As a side note, by the way, as a side note, it has been suspected for the longest time that he lost the and this I can't verify this, but it's interesting. It's kind of it's a hypothesis. He lost his bearing, so to speak, when he remember when he did the first, Tom Clancy, whatever remember the, Tom Clancy, spy series? He was in the Hunt for Red October, whatever it was, and that was gonna be a franchise, and he decided, "Nah, I'm gonna go do something else," give it to Harrison Ford. It has been suspected, and I can't verify this, but it has been suspected that this was met, most, negatively by people, and that he then went to try to become the darling of the left, by virtue of his whatever it was. They really tried to promote him as to this political voice. He did something on MSNBC where he did a talk show. It was so bad, his very first guest was Deborah Winger, I think it was, and then he had on Bill de Blasio. I mean, it was so bad, and then before that, he would do these NPR kind of things. "We would do the Talk about the very, very modulated. He's obviously had cans on, and sometimes people do this. First time they hear their voice, "Ooh, yeah, hey, how you doing? Hey," because 'cause they've never heard themselves. I'm sure he's an actor, but it was circuitous and went nowhere. He tried to come out and do stuff where he tried to mock Trump. His Trump was horrible. There are there's a young man on SNL who I think does the best Trump of anyone who actually sounds like and can sorta look like him too. Anyway, so Al Alec now has this wife, Charo Hilaria, who claims she doesn't speak English or has an accent when she doesn't, and her it is rumored, her thing in life is to have a reality show. The Baldwins. Look at me, I've got 25 kids. How do I do it? I'm doing yoga everywhere. Look, I'm bending over, I'm in the kitchen, I'm bending. Look at me, I'm a pretzel. Well, this guy, who by the way, he's a 1958, he's my age, we were born in the same year. He just kinda wants to say, "I'm tired of this." He wants to do whatever he wants. And plus with a lawsuit regarding the movie, he's just, he's just all over the place, and he's just too much trouble. And as Jon Stewart figured out, and as a lot of people figured out, your one day your star, whatever it is, it just burns out. It just for whatever reason, runs out of momentum, runs out of steam. And what people are asking right now is Hollywood and American politics are asking the question, "What do we do? What do we do to appease and to maintain our connection with our heavily left group?" This is a group of people that we have to historically, we've all the left in Hollywood were always together on every and the left, the prototypical, you know, classical left is now pro-Palestinian. How do they comport? And I'm not trying to say that, Hollywood's all Jewish, that's not true. That's not true. But essence the essence of this is you're seeing this split among American politics, entertainment, where do we fit in? And Alec Baldwin has no idea because he's thinking, "One wrong move and that's it." There are some people who look how many people have not said a word. I don't know what Spielberg or Tom Hanks or who I don't know what the official word is, but this is the most dangerous thing you've ever heard for these people, uh, what they are seeing and encompassing. Um, Sparky says, uh, uh, Netanyahu put Hamas in power. Maybe he lost control, maybe he didn't, but either way, he made his bed. It wasn't just Netanyahu who did this, it were others who thought it was a good idea, and you're right about that. The idea of creating Hamas as a bulwark, as a counter to, uh, Fatah and PLO, and it says, "Israel dissolves into the region, and everyone lives happily ever after." Um, I don't know about that. I feel very sorry right now, very, very sorry for and very concerned for the average Israeli citizen who says, "I don't have anything to do with any of this stuff. I don't know where this is going." Because let me tell you the bottom line, and this is the most important thing that I have to tell you, and this is the most critical, because this is a thing that nobody wants to hear, okay? But first, before we do this, I'm telling you right now, food insecurity, one of the major excuse me, one of the major complaints, major accusations, major aspect that has been repeated consistently is how in Israel, excuse me, in Palestine, pardon me, they are suffering from what is called food insecurity. Food, water, energy are the 3 staples that every civilization, everyone knows, everyone needs. When it comes to food, when you talk to most Americans about this, they feel this sense of immunity. We don't have to worry about that. We have nothing to worry about. I cannot put into words how silly that notion is, but all I can tell you is that I want you to listen very carefully to preparewithlionel.com and do the right thing. They can't handle the truth, but you can. The truth is the clowns running this joint live for chaos, and many of our problems could be solved overnight, but they let them be. Destruction fuels them. If you can handle that truth, you need to visit my website, preparedwithlionel.com. Preparedwithlionel.com. You'll get $60 off a much needed 4-week emergency food kit from My Patriot Supply. The country's largest preparedness company, My Patriot Supply, is your fighting chance at survival. Sealed inside rugged packaging, these delicious meals last up to 25 years and provide over 2,000 calories a day. Think about that. Eat right in emergencies with this 4-week food kit from My Patriot Supplies. At this low price, you can get one for everyone in your family. Visit preparedwithlionel.com. Write this down. Commit it to memory. Preparedwithlionel.com. Order by 3 p.m. for free same-day shipping. Prepare right now at preparedwithlionel.com. One more time. Preparedwithlionel.com before total chaos ensues. Now, here's the bottom line. What people are suggesting right now, nobody is talking about a workaround, a work through, a solution. What people are saying, what the Palestinian movement or whatever you want to refer to this as, is almost an undoing. They're trying to, in essence, repeal, reverse 1948. Listen to what they're saying. That's not going to happen. But this is what we're talking about. We have not seen resistance like this ever. We have not seen so many people say the same thing like we do now. We have never seen anything. We have never seen such a concerted effort, a concerted collective reaction like we see now. You will never. To me, the canary in the coal mine in reverse is Norman Finklestein. He's everywhere with the apparent acceptance of people. And he is on channels and on folks that are completely monetized without any problem whatsoever. We're seeing also all of the rules, all of the things that used to be considered as anti-Ukraine, pro-Russian, no problem. Monetization. You're seeing more and more people coming forward talking about COVID and vaccines. Same thing. That means one of two things. First, from a social media point of view, the rules have changed, or two, you're being set up. They're luring you into the trap, and then they're going to say, okay, change your mind again. And then maybe it's time for a purge. I don't know. Either way. And let me tell you something. What are you going to do, President Trump, when you're asked what your plans are regarding Israel? Now, you were Israel's best friend, moving the embassy. You have been steadfast. Jared Kushner, absolutely, positively. In 2016, you did what you had to do, what you did. Okay, what are you going to do for 2024? Are you going to come out and say, this is a question now, Are you going to come out and say, we are 100% behind Israel? Whatever it does, we're behind you. Yes or no? If not, are you going to go 100% pro-Palestinian? No. Well, how do you balance the two? What do you do? What do you do? Now, one of my favorite ideas is this one. And with all due respect to my Trumpies, Trump is viewed as a deal-making genius. That he could negotiate anything. You just give it to him and he will negotiate. He will get a resolution. Now, the issue is it a good resolution? Is it a bad? But he'll get a resolution. What is he going to do? And how does he tell Bibi, listen, things are different now? I want you to go back and look at what Bibi did to Obama. He owned Obama. Did you ever see that? Go back. When Bibi appeared before Congress, I mean, Obama was just, and he should have been, because that was just nothing but disrespectful. Disrespectful. You just don't do that. But no matter what you think about Obama. So what's Trump going to do? If Trump says, I'm with Israel 100%, the contingent that already is going to vote for him is going to vote for him. The people who aren't going to vote for him, doesn't matter either way. But in the middle, who are the people who he needs? Independents, undecideds, maybe some left folks or ex-Biden. What's going to happen? What is Gavin Newsom going to say? What is Gavin Newsom going to say? Gavin Newsom, all Gavin Newsom has to do is go out and recite to the world all of the, just listen to any information. Mearsheimer, Max Blumenthal, anything. Just watch one video to get 4 horrific facts, commit into memory, go out and repeat, tell the people of this, because America knows nothing about this. So you've got Gavin Newsom and you got Trump. And by the way, what's Bobby Kennedy going to do? What's Bobby Kennedy going to do? Israel is not a hot potato. It's like a grenade. They've already pulled the pin. It's like, what do you do with this? What do we do? What do you do with this? And you're going to have protests here. So there's a lot of iffies, a lot of ifs here. Bobby Kennedy, when Bobby Kennedy had Shmuley Boteach, they did this tour showing his absolute 100% fealty towards Israel. He basically, he's going to own, he's owned that one. That is locked in. And he did that because of this ridiculous claim that he was anti-Semitic. But how is that going to play? What is going to happen? What is the American, not the left, but the undecided, what are they going to say? What happens when there's more and more protest here? And God forbid, and believe me when I say this, I do not want this to happen, but what if there's violence here? What if somewhere all of a sudden you find that a group purporting to be Hamas, alleged to be Hamas, whatever. What if something bad happens then? How will that change the calculus? And is there any opportunity for this to either be staged, false flagged, or whatever? This is what you're going to have to think about. Now, I'm sorry to, again, my apologies for being out of commission, but I'm still not 100%, but I'm getting there. That's all that matters. Thank you for this. We will speak again tonight at 7 p.m., provided I'm not, whatever, but I should be fine. Keep thinking, and ask yourself always this question. How does this affect 2024? History is wonderful. It's wonderful. We can go back and talk about the 1967 rule, about the Balfour Agreement. We can talk about Sykes-Picot. We can go through all of this wonderful stuff. The rise, 1972, the Olympics, fun, interesting. What does this have to do with 2024? I have no idea. How is this going to play? What is going to happen when mainstream media say we have to give here? We have to say something here. We have a constituency and we can't be neutral anymore. How does this play out? Sparky says Americans had an idea that Israel influenced U.S. Congress bigly. That wasn't exactly that wasn't exactly a pipe dream. I think one time even Bibi said something to the effect. He knew exactly. Look, Netanyahu is brilliant. Remember when he changed his name to? He was 28 years old, 29 years old. Ben Natai, or he kind of anglicized his name. But he was more famous in the United States than in Israel. More famous here. He was the perfect spokesman who spoke perfect English. Do not ever underestimate not only his resilience, his genius, and politically, he's brilliant. For you to do that is making a huge mistake. Smarky says most are quite astonished that nearly 100% of lawmakers are hardcore Zionists. Well, I again, I don't want to qualify this. I do not believe that there is a significant number of anyone, politicians, citizens, who truly understand Zionism. I think that is something that is more recherché. I think that's it's for another level. It's Israel to them. The idea of, Herzl in 1890, whatever, this Zionist, the home state of a national. No, I don't think people think like that. I don't think people. No. When Joe Rogan had on Barry Weiss, Joe Rogan asked the question, what exactly is Zionism? And they kind of laughed at him because they said, oh, come on, Joe. I said, that's the most important question in the world. Is this really about Zionism? That's not what people thought. Does it matter what it's called? Does it matter? No. There were people, just like, look at the way people were supporting Ukraine. Did they care about the neo-Nazi groups in Donetsk and Lugansk? And no. The Azov Battalion, the right sector? No. Well, what was it? Because it was against Russia, and that's it. If you think that anybody actually sits down and says this is about Zionism versus just being pro-Israel, you give these people too much credit. It hasn't even hit that level yet. That's not what we're talking about. Oh, my friends, I must. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to answer this. But in the meantime, see you tonight. And don't forget, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya.